All right, so I got up this morning and I got all three cabs where they need to be. Man, it's so cool. That's the Vintage 30 with the same thing, the 57 and the M160. The matchless cab is definitely for me 57 Royer. And this is an open back with a gold and a Vintage 30. This is 8 ohms. This is 4 ohms. So you'll hear it with the Bassman and with the matchless. But, and this would be great with a Royer too, but, I put the SM7 there, put a little off axis, kind of more towards the cone, and it's kind of taking the place of what a ribbon does, and then the 57 down the middle. All three of these clips, or four of these clips, are just going straight into the BAE 1073, and I keep calling it Brent Averill. I'm a little old school. So, and then it's basically just these 3 amps. I've got the matchless into the matchless cab. I did the Bassman into the matchless cab and the Bassman into the 8 ohm Vintage 30 gold cab. And then that is into the Vintage 30 cab, the closed back Mesa cab with the 77. And, I've been dialing this in, and this is my scene. This is going to be what I'm going to be. I've got a lot of records that I'm working on, and this is going to be my scene. Axe Effects for anything modeling. And then I've got the Mesa, my pedal board, which I have one last little itty bitty thing coming. I got a little iPad stand. So the iPad will be here to run the H9s. And anyways, I worked on this last night and I got it sounding good. And then I thought, well, let me rest on it and do it in the morning. And I did it. And then I took about an hour break and I came back in and listened to it on fresh ears, and we're good. So we're going to get into the video, man. Yeah, buddy.
Now tonight we are so excited to introduce our first guest. He's been on our show before, and he's here again to lend his expertise. Please welcome celebrity vocal coach James Lugo.
All right, so here we are. I already tracked it all. We'll just talk about it as we go. We'll start, and I did a lot of, I did the Strat for the matchless and the Bassman and the clean stuff and edge of breakup. Same thing, kind of mostly position 2, which is between the bridge and the center or middle pickup. So anyway, here it is. So here is the matchless. And I tucked in the 57. I kind of like the 121 a little louder on this. So here it is. Here's the Fender Strat with the matchless into the matchless cab. Well, man, I love that amp. And, recording it and listening to it on YouTube or whatever, that's cool. But being in the room with it and playing it is outrageous. One thing it has sparked in me is I want to get my chops up. It's a player's amp. Like, you can't just fumble around on it. You got to play with authority. To me, it's not stiff. It's just it's so rich and dominant that you got to hit it. You got to come at it the way it comes at you. But there it is. So that's the matchless into the matchless cab. Woo! Here's the Bassman into the matchless cab. here's the Bassman into the gold vintage 30 cab. Now, that would sound better with a Royer, but, I mean, I don't know. Buying another Royer, that's madness. So back to the Bassman with the matchless cab. And now with the Bassman with the other cab with the golds. It's a little, you know, it's a little spiky, but, you know, it is kind of cool the way it is. And, you know, that Strat is kind of spiky, so you can really hear it more with that, with the gold speaker, because the gold really jumps out. So, but there you go. So those are the two different cabs. So again, Bassman with the matchless. And now with the golds cab. Oh, that makes me crazy. That sounds it's so cool, man. Like, it's just a cool thing. The thing I noticed too is that the Strat has such a definable sound that it kind of makes a lot of different amps sound similar, because the Strat like overtakes the whole thing, especially that position 2. And I mean, you know, I'm an old 80s dude, so that's like that Def Leppard, you know, Flesh for Fantasy, Billy Idol kind of clean. I like that old like 80A or MP1 or whatever. I don't know, almost like a Rockman. So now Les Paul through the 77 Marshall, through the green, through the vintage 30 Mesa cab. It was a little bright at first, and I kicked him out a little bit. I just can't even tell you how crazy this sounds to me. Here it is. There it is. All right. I'm happy. You guys know me. I have put so much into this. I don't know, man. I'm really inspired. So here's Matchless with Matchless Cab. And this amp sounds great with the Les Paul too. And it also sounds great with the Gretsch. So, you know, this is just one snapshot of it. But I wanted to really get the mics in the place that I wanted, get the phase right, get the basic tone right. Like I said, I went into the BAE 1073s on all of these. And I remember I got a pair of distressors too. I haven't even gone into the distressors. This is just raw. This is no effects, no reverbs, no pedals, nothing. This is just guitar into amp. Because to me, it's like this is where I like to start. And then from here, you can get crazy. So here we go. Matchless into Matchless. basement into matchless cab. And basement into the Golds cab. And remember, this is also 8 ohms. I really like that. A little multi-band compression, maybe hit that spot when it pangs a little bit. But who knows? It depends. I mean, also I've got the treble up around 7 on the basement, so I could back that off a little bit. And again, this Strat is super bright. The Telecaster will not. This Telecaster will sound much more neutral. Here we go, man. Marshall Les Paul Vintage 30s, closed back. Wow. All right. It's 11 o'clock. Got to get my day rolling. Matchless into matchless. You know what's funny? Well, a lot of things are funny. One thing that's funny is often I wonder, like, what if I just, like, what if I just had everything boutique? Would that be lame? Like, if I, like, sold all my gear and I bought nothing but, like, Sirs and Tom Anderson guitars and whoever the other guy is, Paul Reed Smith and whatever, and then got all, like, divided by 13s and Matchless and Bad Cat and Morgan amps and stuff, and I would do probably, I don't know, my gear, my stuff is cool, but getting this Matchless was like, ooh, okay, wow, that's what, like, a handmade expensive amp sounds like. That's a trip. So, but anyway, that's where I'm at. I'm so happy. Tired though, man. It's been a journey, but it's been a good one. So I hope you guys' journeys are going well. And yeah, man. I guess we just got to play the gear that we like, that makes us happy. A lot of people, I hear people, and this has been a little bit of a theme for me. I sold the Captor X. I give up. I can't, like, load boxes and impulse response boxes and the aux and, IR loaders. And I don't know. I hear other people using them and getting great results. Every time I use them, it sucks. And I hate them. And my cab room kills them. I mean, kills them. I remember when I got my first aux of 3, I was like, you got to be kidding me, man. This sounds like garbage to me. But then I hear Pete Thorne's demo of the aux. It's fucking awesome. But he's also a professional demo guy. Like, that's his thing, is like, make gear sound good so people buy it. So maybe, everything's, I don't know. I don't really know, but I did not like that thing at all. I didn't like using it. The app that came with it, the way it syncs up with your Wi-Fi. And plus, yeah, I've had my run-ins with Universal Audio, but that's for another day. But, and I've had 3 of those in the last, like, 3 years or 4 years, and I've given it the college try, and I don't like them. I just don't like the way they sound, and that greenback closed cabinet sounds terrible. The Vintage 30 is a little bit better. Some of the Vox cabinet was nice with the Vox. I'll give it that. That was all that. Everything else I didn't like, really. And I've had a couple of Captor X's, and I think that maybe they're better. I don't know, man, but I had one, and I just, like, I give up. I just give up, man. I can't do this anymore. I'm just not into it. So, and this is why I'm saying, like, we got to find what we like, what works for us, right? So, But that's it. So got rid of the Captor. I got rid of the Kemper too. And I've had a bunch of Kempers. And Kempers are cool. I just, by working up the show, I've gotten so good with Axe Effects, and I really like Axe Effects. And everything that was very, very intimidating to me about Axe Effects, and maybe the things I didn't like when I first started dealing with it a couple of years ago, now I get it, and I'm like, oh, this is great. Like the whole layout and just the effects sound killer. I just think it sounds killer, man. And in that sense, I guess that's where I'm using IRs. But I seem to like that. It seems to work for me. What I think doesn't work for me are my amps into those load boxes, because I'm spoiled with the best of, great cabinets, great mics, Neve preamps, Burl converters. It just doesn't, to me, it just doesn't compete. So, and I don't care about volume. I don't need an attenuator. I'll turn that up, baby. Turn it up! But, and then playing these amps now with no master volumes, like, well, I like this. The master volume on the Matchless is lame. That's got to be off. Clicked in and down to 0. And obviously the Bassman has. And then I'm like, man, I wonder what it's like. What's one of those JTM 45s with no master volume? Anyway, it's for another video. But I'm not doing that. We're done. That's it. I'm never buying another piece of gear I'm not even going to buy a pick. I'm going to go out, I'm going to cut wood, and I'm going to make the wood into the pick. Anyway, my beautiful wife is making an early lunch, late breakfast. It's time to break my fast. Sweet!